baby. That was sweet. You put a three-pointer in, you put a three-pointer out, you put a three-pointer in, and you punk the Kings out. You do Mr. Fourth Quarter, and you turn the game around. That's what Linsanity 2.0 is all about. That was a parody of a famous American song called the Hokey Pokey. And the Hokey Pokey is a really, I don't even know when it's from, maybe like, 1950s or something. And it's like a party song. And it's like, it's something where they play it and everybody can dance to it. It's like you put your right foot in, you put your right foot out. And so, this whole thing. But I don't care about the Hokey Pokey. I care about the Linsanity domination that we saw in this game. So sweet. Haters got punked again because Houston wins 112-102 over the Sacramento Kings. Rockets are now 42-33 on the season. They've won 3 games in a row. The Utah Jazz lost tonight. The Golden State Warriors are playing right now. Now, if the Warriors lose tonight, we are tied with the Warriors, and we would be the number 6 seed because we have a tiebreaker over the Warriors. But Golden State is winning, and they probably are going to win that game. There are only 7 games left now for Houston in the season. The magic number, which that means how many games Houston either has to win or the Utah Jazz has to lose to make the playoffs, is 3. Now, of course, Dallas still figures in and whatever, but if Houston wins 3 games, we're in the playoffs. That's basically what it boils down to. So that is great. Now, of course, we want to make the 6th seed or at least keep the 7th seed above Lakers or Utah, but it's getting closer. It's getting closer. We're almost there. And with games like this, this is how we're going to get it done. This game was won when Mr. Fourth Quarter hit a huge three-pointer with 2 minutes and 2 seconds left in the game. The Kings were making a run. You could feel the momentum turning, and Jeremy hit a gigantic three-pointer, catch-and-shoot three-pointer from about 25 degrees right of the top of the arc, and that was it. It was just so sweet. James Harden played in this game. He missed the 2 games with a foot injury. Of course, we got to see Patrick Patterson, Tony Douglas, and Colt Aldrich, who were traded to the Kings for Thomas Robinson and Francisco Garcia. Thomas Robinson didn't play in this game, and it didn't look like he was hurt. I think it was just a coach's decision. I don't know why Carlos Delfino didn't play in this game. He must be hurt or something. I'm not sure about that. Someone can help me figure that out. We started the big lineup again with Greg Smith. It worked pretty well, though Greg wasn't as effective in this game as he has been, but Terrence Jones was very effective. Man, he looked good in this game. He looked like Superman. I mean, he was like jumping all over the place, like everybody else was like couldn't jump, and Terrence Jones was the only person in the game that could jump, and he was just flying around, making huge plays. I mean, he really was important in this game. Jeremy went up to Sacramento head coach Keith Smart before the game, just kind of said hi, because Keith Smart was Jeremy's coach when Jeremy was at Golden State. So that was cool, and that was a nice little moment. Okay, let's turn to, let me just say, Jeremy was good, Chandler was good, Harden was good, although he had some bad moments. Omer Asik was good, and Terrence Jones were all good. They were all important for this win. Now let's turn to Jeremy. Jeremy finished the game with 15 points, 1 rebound, and 10 assists. He played 34 minutes, shot 5 of 13 from the field, including 3 of 6 from the three-point line, 2 of 2 from the free throw line, 1 steal, no block shots, 2 turnovers, 4 personal fouls. His plus-minus was plus 17. His efficiency number was 17. So, His assist-to-turnover ratio was 5-1. He played a great game. His shooting could have been slightly better, but he took one shot late in the game that was just just a throwaway shot. That's essentially what it was. So really his shooting should have been 5 of 12, which is not bad at all. That's above 40% for a guard. That's fine. And he totally outplayed Isaiah Thomas, who is the point guard, the starting point guard for the Sacramento Kings. This was a revenge game, actually, because the last time these two teams met, Isaiah Thomas scored 17 points in the fourth quarter, mostly against Jeremy. And the Kings came back to win that game. And Jeremy fouled out of that game. If you remember that was I think the only game, or the one of two games that Jeremy fouled out this year. And it really hurt Houston in that game. So this was a revenge game. And he definitely got the better of Isaiah Thomas. Now, Isaiah Thomas did finish up with 12 points and 5 assists, but he only shot 3 of 16 from the field, and his efficiency number was 4. Jeremy shut him down. He really shut him down. It was impressive. His defense was terrific. And remember, I said before, Jeremy has trouble with little point guards, and Isaiah Thomas is a small guy. Jeremy really dug in to play good defense, and it worked great. Now, we saw in this game, the offense is a lot different with James Harden back. It is an adjustment. It's tougher, and Jeremy doesn't get to do everything he's great at because he's not running the whole floor. You know, Harden had like 9 assists in this game, or 8 assists. So it's a different thing, but they can work together. They can work together on the same team. It just involves some compromise. Both of them have to get better at playing without the ball, more cuts and this type of thing, just like we've seen with LeBron and Dwayne Wade, as I've mentioned before. Harden's a great player, and Jeremy's a terrific player. Anytime you have two good players, it can work. You just have to figure out how to make it work. So tonight didn't look like the two games with Harden out, and it's not going to look like that, unfortunately, in some respects. But that's okay. It can still work between the two. They just have to figure out how to make it work, and that's coming. It's just going to take time. If you can take players as great as Dwayne Wade and LeBron James, and they couldn't figure it out immediately, it's going to take time for two younger players like Lin and Harden to figure it out. But they're working at it, and it will come. Look, Jeremy showed again what he's all about in this game. He played great in this game. Really great. I mean, it's just great to watch him when he's playing like this. You can see that the two games that he did well in without Harden have boosted his confidence. He had confidence in this game. You could see it. He was shooting with confidence. He was playing with confidence. And again, this was a revenge game. He wanted to get back at Isaiah Thomas, and he definitely did that. I mean, he punked out Isaiah Thomas, honestly. I mean, just to put it clearly, he really put it on Isaiah Thomas. And Isaiah Thomas was mad. He was trying to go at Jeremy, and he couldn't do it. It wouldn't work. And Isaiah Thomas wasn't happy about it. But Mr. Fourth Quarter came through with that shot. That shot was gigantic. Gigantic. I mean, that was just huge. I don't know what Jeremy was better at tonight. As I said, offense or defense. His defense was phenomenal in this game. You could see him digging in, as a defensive player, the first thing you learn is how to get into a defensive stance, which is like a martial arts stance. And the defensive stance is a crouch. You you bend down at the waist and you let your legs get pretty deep, almost like you're doing a squat, so that you're ready to go where the offensive player goes. And you could see Jeremy getting in that crouch. And when guys are playing tough defense and really focused, they get low in the crouch. And that's what Jeremy was doing. And that's like, yeah, he's really focused on shutting Isaiah Thomas down. Because in order for a bigger player like Jeremy to really get good defense on somebody of Isaiah Thomas's side, he's probably like 5'9", 5'10". You got to get low. And Jeremy was getting low. And it's like, okay, now we're going to play some real defense. And, I mean, Jeremy did great. He did great. That was one of the first times I've seen Jeremy really shape a game with his defense. He did it against the Magic and against the Clippers some too. So it's not just offense. Jeremy can do this on defense too. And as I told you guys in the last game, the point guard sets the tone on defense as well as offense. And Jeremy playing that type of defense picked up the whole team in terms of their morale and their spirits. It was great, man. It was great. Just made a note. Haters are gone. It is over. It's like somebody being, knocked down in a boxing match and the referee is counting to 10. It's over. Jeremy put on a show tonight. You could say he wasn't the best player and Chandler. That doesn't matter. Jeremy sets up everything on both sides. And I know James Harden had 8 assists or 9. And it was close to what Jeremy had. But when Jeremy's running the ball and running the offense, everything flows like we saw yesterday. And I think Harden knows that. And I think the coaches know that. And it's going to make it easier for Jeremy going forward. Now, I know people were talking about what Jeremy said, and I was the point guard and not a point guard, and what McHale said, kind of blowing off the question about Jeremy. When you have somebody of James Harden's talent, you have to let him do some stuff. I mean, he can make plays, so you don't want to take that away from him totally. But what those 2 games without Harden did is it showed the coaches, it showed Harden, and it showed Jeremy, yeah, I can do this. Let me do this more. Have confidence in me. Stop putting me in the corner while James Harden does ISO turnover brick ball. And every success makes it easier for Jeremy. And I thought that the team, the coaches are getting more respect for him. It's a process. Look, it's not fair, right? Life's not fair. It's unfortunate Jeremy has to go through this all over again, but he's almost there. That's why I said the haters are down for the 10 count, because it's almost over. Jeremy's almost won and proven himself again, and that's it. As I said, we've been through the entire league. There are no more new teams. There are no more new challenges. He's been through it. He's almost over the hump. And that's it. There's no going back then. And this was a big step towards that. And he played a great, great game. As I've said before, this is what a Linsanity 2.0 game is going to look like a lot of times in this offense when James Harden is playing. More assists, fewer points, and that's fine. As I said, Jeremy can score whenever he wants. He'll never lose that. And he missed some open threes in this game. So as his three-point shooting gets even better, he would have had 20-some points. That's great. I'm not knocking him on his threes. He was 3 of 6. I mean, that's pretty good. And I'll tell you another thing. Isaiah Thomas was happy when Patrick Beverley came in the game. He was eager to go at Patrick Beverley because he wasn't having any success against Jeremy. And you could see it, and it was great. So before we get to quarter by quarter, I'm just going to let another woo Jeremy is doing it. He's doing it, and we're watching it, and this is what we've been waiting for. And it's only going to get better. I don't want to jinx him. Just stay healthy, and it's all going to get better from here. It's phenomenal. Okay, let's do quarter by quarter. Okay, early in this game, James Harden was looking to pass, which is good. Again, that was like what he was doing in Memphis. Now, he had some moments where he wasn't looking to pass, but he did start the game off well. And again, I think that, Harden saw what everybody else saw, which is the ball was moving a lot better when he wasn't playing. So, that helps guys to learn how to play in a different way. Early in the first, Jeremy forced Isaiah Thomas into a turnover on a traveling violation. Jeremy, again, he was playing good defense pretty much from the beginning. Also, early in the first, Jeremy had a nice half-court pass that basically was an alley-oop to Chandler, Bieber, Parsons for a dunk. Also, early in the first, Jeremy had a nice pass to James Harden for a three-point shot from about 20 degrees right of the top of the arc. That came with 9:05 left in the first quarter, and it led directly to a Sacramento timeout. The big front line of Houston was really bothering Sacramento when Sacramento was on offense. As I said, it's nice having all that bulk on the inside because, believe me, as an offensive player, that's not fun to play against. You're running into guys, and guys are blocking your shot, and it's difficult. And that's where you'll see teams shooting a lot of jump shots because they can't do anything inside. And it's really nice to have Greg Smith for that purpose. Also, early in the first, if you remember in the Orlando game, I said that they ran a play for Jeremy called a curl, which is, again, it's like a hook. And they ran another one in this game, which I wasn't sure if that was a designed play for Jeremy, but now that I saw it again, it definitely is a designed play for Jeremy or for whomever. Maybe they have a symbol like, I don't know, like hold your hand in a fist, and they run that play. What they did in this game, last game, it was kind of like it all happened on one side. It all happened on the left side of the court, on the left side of the paint. The way that this one happened was Jeremy started out on the right side of the paint, and he ran across the court to the left side of the paint, and then he did the curl, which is make kind of a semicircle. That helps you to lose your defender. And then they passed it to Jeremy for like a little like simple layup. I think he missed a layup, but they're definitely running that play for him. That's something that they've put into the offense, and that's good. That's going to help Jeremy get more shots and more easy shots. Middle of the first, Jeremy passed it to Chandler for a three-point shot in the left-hand corner, and it was a half-court pass. So, Jeremy, another one of his half-court, full-court passes. It was the second one of the game already. Both of them came to Chandler, and they both were completed for baskets. Middle of the first, Jeremy had one of his two turnovers. He was stripped by Isaiah Thomas on the dribble. I believe I didn't catch the thing. I had to look up the turnover, but I believe that's what happened. I made a note here that Jeremy and James Harden were playing off of each other pretty well through the middle of the first quarter. Harden was doing a good mixture of passing and shooting, and it was working well. And Harden had gotten his defender, Tyreke Evans, into early foul trouble. Tyreke Evans in the middle of the first already had 2 fouls, and he had to sit down. So that was really good. Harden was playing smart, good basketball early in this game. Middle of the first was the best play of this game by Jeremy. He stole the ball. I believe DeMarcus Cousins was passing the ball to Isaiah Thomas, like across the court, from the right-hand side of the court to the left. Jeremy anticipated it, stole the ball, was dribbling, kind of lost Isaiah Thomas as he was dribbling, and then went in for a sweet dunk. I mean, I didn't think he was going to dunk it. It looked like he took off on his jump at the wrong spot, but he was way up, which tells me his knee's doing great. That was a nice dunk. He really got some serious hang time for that dunk. That came with 5 minutes and 20 seconds left in the first quarter and made the score 20-11. You will definitely see that play in the highlights, I'm sure, and you're going to want to see it. It was a nice dunk. Sacramento immediately took a timeout, and they showed Houston in their little huddle coming out of the timeout, and Jeremy was like taking charge of the huddle. Like Kevin McHale had the little whiteboard that like drawing up a play, kind of have baskets on it and you X's and O's, and Jeremy was like saying something. He had taken over the huddle. It was great, man. It just, again, Jeremy's a leader. He's a natural leader, and he was explaining something to one of the guys, maybe Greg Smith or the whole team, and everybody was listening. McHale just let him do it. It was great. Just looking here at my notes. Patrick Beverley came in for Jeremy with 3 minutes and 12 seconds left in the first quarter. The score at that time was 20-16 for Houston. And once Jeremy went out of the game, the offense started bogging down. It started slowing down, and the flow left, basically, which was unfortunate. Now, Terrence Jones started getting playing time in this game late in the first, and he was, like I said, he did great in this game. It just makes you wonder, why wasn't this guy playing more earlier? This guy's got ability. We all saw that. I mean, the preseason, I remember watching and was like, oh my gosh, this guy can jump out of the gym. Need to find some time for him. So hopefully tonight he'll be able to earn some more time. Jeremy started the second quarter on the bench, which is normal. He came in for Patrick Beverley with 7 minutes and 18 seconds left in the second quarter, and Sacramento had taken the lead, 37-35. Middle of the second, Jeremy hit a catch-and-shoot three-pointer from the right corner from a pass from James Harden. That came with 5 minutes and 59 seconds left in the second quarter. Then also in the middle of the second, Jeremy had, as I've described before, a hockey assist, which means he makes the pass that leads to another guy passing the ball for a basket. Jeremy had a nice pass to James Harden, who then passed the ball to Omer for a dunk. The reason it's called a hockey assist is because in hockey, you get credit for those passes. That actually would count as an assist for Jeremy. But in basketball, it is not counted. It only counts for the man that directly gives the basketball to somebody else for 2 points. They pass it to somebody and then that guy scores. But in hockey, you get credit for those passes. With Jeremy back in the game, the offense moved better. It worked better, which is not a big surprise. Again, I don't have a problem with James Harden playing some point guard. That's fine. But it's usually not going to work quite as well as it will with Jeremy running the point guard. Look, James Harden has certain skills. He can pass and he can run the point guard position, kind of. So you want to let him do it because he likes doing it and he's good at doing it. But the balance has to be found between letting James Harden do that and understanding things might move a little bit smoother when Jeremy's doing it. So they'll keep working at that. They'll keep working at that. And again, what Jeremy can continue to develop for himself is work at learning to play without the ball, make more cuts, run more plays like the little curl stuff, so that when you don't have the ball in your hand, you can get in position to score and get in position to make other plays, which is what Dwayne Wade and LeBron have had to do playing with one another. They've had to learn how to do the off-the-ball stuff more, and Jeremy will learn that, and he is learning that. Late in the second, great play. This was a designed play. This is something that Houston's obviously worked on. Houston was passing the ball out of bounds, or from out of bounds to inbound. They were inbounding the ball, and Jeremy ran, and he got the inbounds pass, and then Omer went right to the basket, and Jeremy got him a nice pass for an easy dunk. It just was a really nice play to watch, and it's clearly something that they worked at. It's something that was designed, and it worked very, very well. Late in the second, Jeremy had his second and final turnover of the game. He was going along the baseline from right to left, and he was going to kind of hand off or pass the ball to Chandler in the left corner, but the defender anticipated it and kind of knocked the ball away. It wasn't a great pass from Jeremy, but that was his final turnover of the game, and again, like I said, you compare that to 10 assists, and that's nothing. Late in the second as well, Jeremy, he caught the ball about 20 degrees right of the top of the arc, and he was about to shoot a three-pointer. I can't remember who passed him the ball, maybe Terrence Jones, and he went up, but right as he was going up, he saw that James Harden was wide open underneath the basket. So he went up like he was going to shoot, passed the ball to James Harden, and James Harden got a super easy layup. That was a great play. It takes really good vision to be able to see that and make that type of a pass. And you credit James Harden because he was looking. A lot of times you'll make that type of a pass and you end up hitting a guy in the head because he's looking. He's thinking that you're shooting, so he's looking at the backboard getting ready for a rebound. So that was a great play by everybody involved. Terrific. Jeremy got fouled soon after that play, also late in the second. I didn't see the foul, but he got 2 free throws, and he made both of them. That came with 1 minute and 55 seconds left in the half. Then finally, Jeremy had another pass to Chandler for a three-pointer in the left corner. Jeremy started the third quarter, and right before he came out to the court by the bench area, he was talking with Mikhail, and Mikhail and him kind of slapped hands. That was good. Mikhail was telling him some final instructions. Early in the third, Jeremy, he drove to the lane, and he ended up taking a shot that he didn't want to take. It was a little floater shot. He wanted to pass the ball. I could see he was looking to pass the ball, but nobody was open. So in the last moment, he had to take a shot, and he missed it. But it's a pretty good play because a lot of times guys in that position will get a turnover because it's what am I going to do? But he was smart enough to shoot it at the last moment, so that was good. I made the note here that Jeremy is playing great defense on Isaiah Thomas. Like I said, down in his crouch and really getting after Isaiah Thomas, and it worked great. At this point in the game, early in the third quarter and middle of the third quarter, Omer Ashik was crushing the Kings. He had a huge block shot. Somebody from Sacramento was going for a dunk, and Omer blocked it, and Omer was getting dunks himself. He was just destroying the Kings at this point in time. It was awesome. I said, look, Omer's not perfect, and we know sometimes he doesn't finish when he catches the ball, and it's annoying and stuff, but Omer's a force. He's big. He's a terrific defender, and we saw in the Orlando game, he's got some offense. He just doesn't get to show it that much, but he was dominating in this stretch of the game. It was yeah, man, this guy's good, and it was really nice. Middle of the third, Jeremy, he drove to the basket. We've seen this play before. He drove to the basket along the right baseline, and Chandler starts cutting to the baseline as well from the other side, and Jeremy basically just hands the ball off to him, and Chandler got an easy layup. So that's something that I don't know if that's a set offensive play, but whatever it is, it works. I mean, those two, it might just be communication between the two. It's probably a play, but I'm not sure about that. But whatever it is, they have good chemistry on that particular scheme, and it works really well. We've seen it a number of different times in recent games. Middle of the third as well, Jeremy called for, he asked James Harden to come up and set a high pick and roll, on the top of the key area and that thing. Then he did a drive. Harden did that. Jeremy, I believe, went to the left, and then he did a drive, draw, and dish. He drove the ball to the lane. He drew Omer Ashik's man, then just made a nice little pass to Omer for a super dunk, just mega dunk. That made the score 75-65. 6 minutes and 31 seconds left in the third quarter. Sacramento took a timeout. I just put J-Lin takeover. Between him and Omer, then they were just crushing the Kings. I mean, Jeremy was in that type of flow. That's why I said Harden can't do that. Harden can do that by scoring, and he's a good passer, but he can't work that kind of offensive wizardry and magic that Jeremy can. And as we saw in the game against Orlando, and that's what was happening right here. It's just, it's so overwhelming. That's why teams take timeouts and stuff. It's demoralizing. It's like, oh man, it's, that's what Jeremy's capable of doing. And it was amazing. And it was great to see. And like I said, Sacramento didn't know what to do. Okay. Middle of the third as well. Jeremy hit a nice little runner on a broken play, meaning that the play got messed up. And Jeremy had to make something happen very close to the end of the shot clock. And he did that, and he scored. Now, very soon after that, and this was, again, Houston was in a great groove at this time. They were up by 10 or 12 points, and everything was going well. And then, James Harden started playing iso ball. And, man, it really messed things up. And this was like middle towards late in the third, so maybe like the last 5.5 minutes of the quarter. And I put a note here, easy Harden on the ISO turnover stuff right now, because you could see him start going into it. What happens is, as we know, offense just slows down. Everybody's sitting watching James Harden dribble or hold the ball. That's not the way to play basketball. Sometimes isolations can work, but you don't want to do them constantly unless it's a very specific situation. And this wasn't one of those situations. But okay, before Harden went into the full ISO mode, though, late in the third, Jeremy had a nice full court pass to Chandler in traffic for a layup. So that was at least his third half court, full court pass of the game that completed for an easy layup. Then Harden went back to the ISO stuff, shot a total brick three-pointer that then led to an easy Sacramento basket. It just, things were really bogging down now, and Sacramento was making a comeback. Tyreke Evans, the guy that James Harden was guarding, already had 13 points in the quarter. So what was happening here was Houston had lost their offensive flow because of James Harden, and now Sacramento was making a comeback. And I was just so frustrated at this point in time. It's just like, dude, don't do this. This is why the offense worked better when you were out. Now you're falling back into bad habits. So, fortunately, soon after that, Jeremy hit a nice catch-and-shoot three-pointer from about 25 degrees right of the top of the arc. So Jeremy was helping lessen the offensive wreckage that Harden was causing. And thank goodness for that, because Sacramento was coming back in this game. And it's a good thing that Jeremy and the team kind of hung in there while this was going on. Jeremy went out of the game with 1:47 left in the third quarter for Patrick Beverley. At that point, Houston was up 8 points. And it was just, Jeremy just needed a rest. I mean, he played out the entire third quarter, and it was fine. But right after Jeremy went out, another Harden just pathetic brick. I mean, I'm so upset. I'm just typing stuff, Mikhail, please rein in James Harden. This is what was so good of the 2 games Harden was out, is that now people saw what things can look like when it's not like this. So when it starts getting like this, Mikhail, you got to pull him out. He didn't do that tonight, but, he's going to have to think about doing that when it gets like this. This was just, Harden was putting up terrible shots and turning the ball over, and his man was going crazy. Tyreke Evans scored 16 points in the third quarter. James Harden scored like 4. And he had and Harden had 2 turnovers. It's just, that kills the team's morale. It does. And I mean, the team's, running back on fast breaks on defense because James Harden just shooting just bricks. I mean, just terrible shots. So, like I said, look, I love James Harden. He's a great player and stuff, but he's got a lot to learn. A lot to learn. And people are asking me, and I'll talk about this more later, hey, did you hear what James Harden said? He doesn't have to change. Now, some people thought it was a good thing. Some people thought it was a bad thing. No, it was a bad thing, in my opinion. What James Harden was saying was, hey, I don't need to change. I know how to play, and I'm the leader of the team, and I play the right way. No, you didn't play the right way in this stretch, and the team was playing pretty good offense without you. So I don't like what James Harden said. Thought it was kind of defensive. Like, no, don't say the team played better without me. Well, they did on offense. So he'll learn, and Mikhail needs to help him learn. If it gets too crazy, you got to take him out. It's easy to take Jeremy out. Well, you need to get used to taking James Harden out too. This little stretch was terrible, and it's fortunate that Houston survived it. Again, that's the type of run that fuels the other team and kills your own team, because guys know you're not playing the right way, and then they don't want to try hard, because why? James Harden's just going to come down and shoot up a 25-foot brick. So, that doesn't work. That's, again, I've compared Harden when he's bad to when Kobe's bad. The reason why players like Andrew Bynum that play with Kobe in the past would say something like, you'd see them do stuff or not try hard is because they're not getting the ball. And they're watching Kobe shoot 28-footers while, they're trying hard to get position and they don't get the ball. That just takes the energy out of your team. And you can't play that way. You can't play that way. You just can't. So soon after that, James Harden had another turnover, which led to another Sacramento fast break, and the guy got fouled and had 2 free throws and hit them both. That was Tyreke Evans. So just made a note, no offensive flow with James Harden running the show. Get it, Mikhail? ? So the end of the third quarter, Houston's lead was down to 5 points, and I'm just going to say it straight out. James Harden let him back in the game. He let Sacramento back in the game. And we heard that someone put that one quote up from someone in Washington saying, yeah, James Harden will, he'll start trying to get his own points. He'll let you back in the game. That's exactly what he did right there. Again, I love you, James Harden, but you were playing the wrong way there. You can't play like that. You just can't, because it kills the team. Okay, Jeremy started the fourth quarter on the bench, and Isaiah Thomas was very eager to take his chances against Patrick Beverley rather than Jeremy because he couldn't do anything against Jeremy, as I mentioned earlier. Jeremy came back into the game with 7 minutes and 48 seconds left in the fourth quarter. Houston was up by the score of 96-91, so they still had the 5-point lead. Immediately when Jeremy came in, he forced a Sacramento turnover. Somebody was trying to pass the ball back to Marcus Thornton, and Jeremy was kind of guarding him, and basically the ball went out of bounds. Made a note here, Terrence Jones making huge plays because of his crazy athletic ability. I mean, Jones was big. He helped save this game for Houston. He was, like I said, it was like he was jumping and everybody else was standing still. It was just incredible. I mean, some of the offensive moves he was doing, and they worked. And thank goodness for that, because we needed the baskets. And, part of the issue with Terrence Jones is he is what's called a tweener. A tweener means in between, just a short version of in between, tweener. He is in between a small forward and a power forward with his size. Now, he's a big guy in terms of muscle, but he's not super tall. So that's part of his issue. I don't think he has the skill set to play small forward, meaning like dribbling and stuff. So sometimes you're not sure where to play him, but they played him at power forward tonight, and boy, it worked great. It's a guy that's that athletic. You got to get him out on the court, particularly if you're a running team. And thank goodness for him, because he helped tremendously tonight. Made another note, Jeremy is playing great defense, and he really was helping to shut down Sacramento at this time. Isaiah Thomas was trying to go at him, and he couldn't get anything done. It was great. When Jeremy came back in the game, Houston went on a run immediately, and it just in a very short period of time, they had the lead back up to 9 points rather than 5 points. Houston was running more of the high pick and rolls for Jeremy, and it was working. So again, give credit to the team and to the coaches and to Jeremy himself, because he was calling them. In other words, at this point in time, James Harden was setting picks for Jeremy up high. The best place to set a pick for somebody like Jeremy with his speed is up high, because then you have more options of where you want to go, and you can build up more momentum as you get closer to the basket. If you set a pick and roll on the side, there's less space. So this was good, and they were absolutely setting Jeremy up so he could make plays, and it worked. It worked great. Late in the fourth, Jeremy had a nice pass to Chandler on the break. James Harden threw a cross-court pass to Jeremy, and then Jeremy had a nice little feed to Chandler for a nice dunk on the break, and that came with 3 minutes and 58 seconds left. And right after that play, Jeremy was fired up. You could see him talking, saying, "Let's go," and he was pumped up, and that was sweet. Mr. Fourth Quarter was showing up right when he needed to show up, and then finally, with 2 minutes and 2 seconds left in the game, and Houston was only up by 5 points. Sacramento was making a run here, and I could see when they went to a timeout that Sacramento's team was talking like, yeah, you could tell, and now's our time. We're going to make our push now, and they were making a push. But with 2 minutes and 2 seconds left, Jeremy hit a huge three-pointer, and I think it was like right top of the arc, like 25 degrees, and that made it 109-101. And man, that was just supreme swag from Jeremy. That was, it was like the shot against Toronto last year. It didn't come at the end of the game, but it was basically the same thing. Just a huge shot. That shot saved the game, and it ended the game. That was it. That was the game winner, and that shot basically broke Sacramento's will. And Mr. Fourth Quarter shut the door on the revenge game and got it done once again. Take that, haters. Bye-bye. Back to the darkness. Summary of this game was, this was a phenomenal win. We needed this win, and we got it. We are one step closer to the playoffs now. And JLin showed what he is all about once again in a critical game and a revenge game. And we saw Mr. Fourth Quarter come out for that massive three-pointer with 2 minutes and 2 seconds left in the game. I freaking love it. Okay, it's 1:30 a.m. now here on early Thursday, April 4th on the eastern coast of the United States, which means it is 1:30 p.m. on Thursday, April 4th in Taipei, Taiwan. Now, I'm just going to answer a couple of quick things I saw in the comments. I didn't get to go through all the comments, and again, I'm just picking out stuff randomly. As I said, you heard what I said about Harden. I didn't like what he said. I'm not freaked out by it, but I don't think it was a good thing. It was basically, in my opinion, James Harden saying, I don't need to change anything regardless of the team being successful with me out. My style of play is fine, and I'm not changing it. That's the way I took it, and I didn't like it. But he had his moment tonight where he really hurt the team. But for most of the game, he played pretty well. So he could say whatever he wants. If he plays the right way, that's fine. People asked me, can you change the picture of Jeremy? No, I can't. And the reason why I can't, I know people want a tougher looking picture and Jeremy looks like a schoolboy and all that stuff. We use that picture because that picture is in the public domain, meaning that there's no copyright problems with it. I looked for other pictures and there aren't any. So I'm sorry. I know once there are more pictures available, if one of you guys is a fan and you go to an event with Jeremy and you take a picture, we'll use it. But there aren't any other pictures available right now, so that's the only one I can use. So sorry about that. JW Star, you asked me about my scoliosis or whatever. It's just how did I get it? It's just a hereditary thing. It runs in the family. It's just a bone thing. It's not a big deal. But I appreciate you asking me. I'm sure I'll be fine. And yeah. I mean, that's it with that. It's just a hereditary thing. Okay, the next game is against the Portland Trailblazers in Portland, Oregon. It's on the west coast of the United States. Oregon's above California and below Washington. And that will take place in the United States on Friday, April 5th at 10:30 p.m. Eastern Time, which means it'll take place in Asia early Saturday, April 6th. And that'll be 10:30 a.m. in Taipei, Taiwan, and 1:30 p.m. for Dai Sun in Sydney, Australia. I think, unless you guys have moved your clock for daylight savings time or whatever like we do. And also probably 1:30 p.m. for Melody Ting in Brisbane. That's it. Your comments below, your happy comments, I love it. Just, this is the second straight game of Linsanity 2.0 also, which is great to get back to that. Thumbs up, thumbs down. Well, full information in the video description below the video player for box score, game stories, and game highlights. Also information so you can come and join the C&M Facebook group if you would like. We have over 2,000 members and counting there. I am Paul F. Villarreal, the NBA expert. Thanks for watching Conservative New Media. We strive to be the #1 JLin YouTube fan channel. Hope everybody's having a great day, a great night, wherever you are around the world, in the JLin worldwide fan community when you watch this. Take care. We'll talk to you soon. This was a great game. Love the way Jeremy played in this game. He really took leadership of this team, and he's finding his place on this team and in this offense with James Harden there. It was great that he got to play 2 games without James Harden, and it's boosted his confidence, and I think the coaches respect him more. So we're looking forward. We've got back-to-back games, Friday and Saturday. So we need a couple more wins, and we're going to punch our ticket into the playoffs. Talk to you guys soon. I'll be down in the comments, so looking forward to everybody else being happy and feeling great the way I'm feeling right now.